Okay, all right. This video is specifically for React router framework. So we'll be looking into the framework mode and experiment with it. Now, the latest version of React router, they implemented some major update to the library, which makes it turns into a framework. Now you cannot use it as a framework or as a normal routing system. Now, but in this video, we'll be looking into how we can use React routers framework. So, which means that specifically today we'll be dealing much more about the framework model. Okay, we still have some other couple of modes like the data and the declarative mode. But in this video, we'll be talking about the framework mode. Now, let's get started with the installation process and then we keep on taking some necessary things to the end. Now, starting with the installation, with the framework mode, the installation process, it's very straightforward. You just have to copy this command that was provided for you by the React router team. Here I will copy it, and then I will move to my ID. I will paste it there. I will scaffold it into my current folder. Okay. No, because I want to use pnpm to install the packages. Okay, cool. That was very fast. Pnpm run dev. Awesome. Okay, cool. That's nice. Very fast. That's how easy it is to install React routers framework. So everything has been set up for us. The routing has been set up for us. And some other additional features which the team provided. So there is a lot of features that was provided by the team. Like you can see that the framework mode has much more features than the data and the declarative mode. So we have a lot of features here, like the await form, the links, and more. There are several features here, but that's not actually the main point of this video. So after the installation, now we have the setup for the project, for the React router framework ready. So now let me just give you a walkthrough of the setup and just to see how things are being structured. Now starting from here, we have this routes.ts file. This route.ts file manages the routing system. Like here you can configure your route for your React router framework application. So here we have the home page, right? It was labeled as the index function. This API that was imported from React router /dev/routes. So this index makes this this component here will be rendered as the index page. So it means that everything we have on this page it is within this home.tx components, and that if you check the directory which is routes/home.ts, you will find it in this folder here. We have the home.ts here. So we have the setup here. Everything is ready. There's the components. So everything is working fine. So that is the initial setup. This route folder here, it literally stores all the pages you have in our application. This is where we'll be declaring all our pages. So we'll look into the routing system very soon. Now we have this welcome component that has other 2 SVG file there. So nothing much. We have some components here. Welcome components, and some little features there. So nothing much. We have the routes.csx, which is the root of our application. So it has some imports from React router, some types imports, and the CSS file from the app.css. We have the links. We will be talking about this later. We have the layout, which is the layout page, like this boilerplate for the HTML file, HTML. We have the app setup for the layouts, and we also have the error boundary, the global error handlers. So that's just it about the setup. Now let's talk about the routing system in React Router framework. Routing in React Router frameworks is very straightforward. Very straightforward. Let's talk about the basic routing system. Then we will now talk about the more better one that I feel like it is better. Now, starting with the basic one. As we've said earlier that we configured our routes here. Like this is our home page route. So assuming now that I want to have about page, I'll just have a comma here and import the route from React Router /dev/route here. This API, I will import it. Then this route function takes into argument. The first argument is your how you want the page URL pattern to be. Now we know that our about page will always be about, right? So I can also have /, and I might not add it. So we have the route, we have the /about, right, as the first argument, which is what we display in URL. Then comma, we have now we have the second argument. This second argument is the component you want to display. Where is the component you want to display for this route is located. So, and if we check that, we don't have any component here yet. I will just create that about.tsx, scaffold it. Okay, cool, awesome. Let me just make this capsulator. Okay, so I will now point to that file I just created, which is about.tsx route /about.tsx. Cool. So that's how simple it is to point to a route, like to configure a new route. So assuming I want to add more route, I will just keep doing this route, then I will just have a comma there, then I'll specify the path, the URL pattern, and where the component is located. So this doesn't make it compulsory that you have to have all the components. You can have it outside. So you can have it outside, but you just have to point to the location of the component you want to display. You just have to point to it. So it doesn't mean that it must always be inside your router. That's not the case. So that's it about creating a route. Now we can check that. I will come to my index page. I want to make things much more. I will delete this so that we won't be getting confused. I will remove this welcome component here. Will make things a little bit easier. I will import the link. I will import the link component from React Router. Okay, from React Router, yes. Then I will point to /about. Go to about page, right? Very straightforward. Cool, awesome. I will have an age one here. Welcome to page. Oh, what am I typing, for God's sake? Here, home page. Cool. We have that. Okay, awesome. Now this link will take us to the about page. Now let's check that out here. This is our go to about page, right? When I click on it, we have the about page. Is our about. Awesome. So it means that our route is now well configured and it is working. So that is how simple it is to create a route in your in React Routers framework. Now, we have a lot of, this is just a basic route. We have complicated routes that like nested routes, more complicated routes, and more. So now before diving into that, we can achieve that using this approach. But I just want to keep things very concise and straightforward. There is a file system routing approach that was introduced by the React routers framework. So just first thing you have to do to use this part, to use the pattern, is we need to first install a library. It is a completely separate library from the React routers package. So I will do npm install at react router /fs route. So you can check out the documentation for that. You can check out the documentation for that. Yeah, this is it. So okay, then I will install it. Now let's check it out. Instead of using pnpm, you can use npm yarn. I'm just using pnpm because it makes my life easier, and I just love it very fast. You can also check my video on where I explained the difference between pnpm and npm and the advantages. If you feel like, check the link in the description below. All right. So we have the package installed. Then next thing is we need to configure it. I will come here and configure. Instead of having this, I will remove everything here. Then I will call the function from, this is called flat route, from react router /fs route. Then I will execute it, like I will invoke the function. So I will remove this since we are no more using it. Okay, cool. So now with this, I have configured the flat route. So what this gives us by default, it means that we can now have a file routing system. Like this route here, by default, you can configure it to some other folders or some other location, but by default, it will make use of this route folder here. So it means that all the files you created inside this route folder will be a route entirely. So which means that this home page now is now a route. This about page is now also a route. Get the point? So now let's hit this about page and see if it is still working. Okay, that's it. Cool. Things are still working fine. But now let's try the home page. We have nothing. What's actually going on? We have nothing in the home page. So it is because home.tsx isn't the home page for flat route, doesn't recognize home.tsx. So we have to tell it that this is the home page. So how do we tell it? It is by changing the name to _index. So by changing the name to _index, we are telling flat route that this is the index page. It will now recognize this as the home page. So that's how it works. So I will change the type there from home to index. Okay, cool. That's cool. All right. So now if we try to confirm that again, so now things are now working fine again. That's how simple it is. So this _index is literally telling the route, the fs route package that this is our home page. This is our home page. Cool. Now let's look into more sophisticated routing pattern. So for moving forward, we'll experiment with the routing format that is called dot delimiters. So how does this work? Let me just have a comment here that we will be testing about. Assuming we have movies / we have movie here, we have movie / movie ID. Yes, we have movie. No, we have movie and like something random UUID, something like that. Yes, movies and the movie ID. Okay, now we have something like movies slash trending, right? Trending, yes. So how can we achieve all these nested routes with in React router framework? Now, starting with this movie, as we've already know that we've already done something very similar to it, like slash about page. So if we want to achieve this movies page now, we just have to come here and create movies.tsx. That's just it. Then I scaffold the project. We have this movie here. Okay. Then let's check that out. I will have something like we can now close this route because we've already set up the filing system. So we are now safe. We can close it. Now here I would also point to the movie page. I don't want to be typing in the URL every time, so this is a lot more easier. Okay, now I will add a break. Okay, now click on go to movie page. You're now in movie page. Cool, that's awesome. Now we have achieved the home page, the movie page, but now we want to implement nested page. I will have this in my home page. Let me have this here. Okay, for easy reference. Okay, now we want to have movie slash trending, right? It means that we have another route nested inside the movies route. How can we achieve this? So that's one of the reasons why I said this. We are currently talking about dot delimiters. So this approach means that each nested route will be separated by dots. It means that to achieve this now, how can we have configure the route? We just need to do movies.trending.tsx. Movies.trending.tsx. These dots here within, okay, let me just highlight it here. Okay, movies.trending. Okay, so these dots here will change to / in your URL. So this approach is called dot delimiters. So your dot here in your file here, you declared in this routes file here, so it will change to URL automatically when you hit it in the browser. So this is another trending. This is another route. This is another routing pattern. But do not forget that this trending is nested into this movie component because it starts with the same name as this movie. It means that this trending page is a child. Let me just use the name like that. Let me use it like it's a child to this movie component, which means that it is nested into this movie component. Now give me a second, I will explain the reason why I say that. Now let's save this file and copy this. I will change this to /trending. Okay, trending page. Okay, awesome. Now I will come to my trending here, scaffold the content. Okay, we have the movie trending. I will change the content and add some phone emoji. I want this to be more fun. Let's change it to H1. Okay, that's awesome. Okay, cool. This is the trending page. As we can see, we have the movie page here. I will also use H1 here. I just want things to be a little bit different. That's why I'm trying to do some little bit of styling pattern there. Okay, let's have our emoji here like movie. That sounds great. Okay, cool, awesome. Now I will go a little bit back. Okay, oh, this background is very little bit dark. Let me just change the color from here. I will comment everything here out to stress myself. Okay. All right. Okay, now let's go to the about page. About page is working. Let's go to the movie page. Movie page is working. This is our movie page. It's working. Now let's check out the trending page, right? Do not forget that we've already set up our trending page. We have movies trending, right? With some cool emoji. Right. Wow, it's not working because now these movies here now shows the same content that is inside our movie page. What's going on? Movie page and trending page, they have same content. Why is that? Okay, now let me break it down once again. So as I said earlier that the trending was prefixed with movies dot, right? Which means that this trending is still nested into this movies component. It means that this trending is certainly a child of this movie component. So it means that whenever you hit this trending page, this trending route, it's first gets to this parent before it will render the content from this trending. You get the point? It's like a layout, nested layout, right? Like it's literally a nested layout. Like when you have a layout, the parent layout content will always show for whenever you nested, like the child layout is about to choose, it's about to show. So that's exactly what's going on there. So, and we didn't, in our movie here, we did not declare anywhere our child content is going to display. That's why we are not seeing anything. Now I will use okay, now here we can now use something called outlets. This is not something strange for people that work a lot with React router, like work a lot with React router DOM. A lot of people will know about this, not about most of Next.js developers. But if you are a fan of React, normal React and React router from day one, you will definitely know how outlets work. So React router team bring back the outlets and it's performing the same function. So which means that any component that is nested within this movie component will be rendered here where we specify the outlets component. So that's literally what's going on here. Now, which means that our movies now will now show, but it won't, this content won't only show, it will show along with this movies layout. All right, now let's check that out. We have our movie, this is our movie here. Let's inspect that and confirm it. Okay, we have it here. This is it. Let me give it a class name so that we can differentiate between it. Okay, we have class name movie, no? Okay, movie trending. Okay, that's cool. Movie trending. We have this class name container. Yes, that sounds great. So now let's look into this. Yeah, this is it. We have the container here. Since we are in the home page route, right? We are in movie page route rather. Now let's check out the trending page. Now we are in trending page. We still have the movie page since it's the layout. This movie content is located in the layout, so it will definitely show up in your nested layout, right? So we have the movies trending content here. So if we try to check the structure of the content, we can see the container is still here. Then the outlet was replaced by the content of our trending movies dot trending route. So this is the movies dot trending route. We have the content there. The content from here, this markup here, the JSX from here was inserted into here. So that is how nested route works. So now which means that if we have movies dot trending dot something, so it will keep on nesting into each other. So that is how we can achieve this. But before we round it up, assuming now that we have since we have this layout for the movie, we have this layout here. Now, assuming now we hit this movie route, right? Now we literally want to have some initial content that will be displayed for the movies route, right? Apart from the general layout, we definitely want to have something that will be displayed initially for the movies route. So how can we achieve that? The way we can achieve that is by using this feature called movies._index.tsx. So this movie._index.tsx specifies that any content within this index.tsx, it's for the initial it's for the it's definitely for the movies page, which means that if I let me change some content here. Okay, I will change that. Okay, so it means that this content here will be displayed here initially when you hit slash movies page, because that's the initial route of the movies page. So this index, anything, the components here or the content inside these movies component will be rendered as the initial display. So now let me refresh it. There we have it. This is it. We have it here. All right. Awesome. Now if we check out the trending page, the index value was replaced by what was in the slash movie slash trending component. That's how dot delimiter routing works. So before we round it up for the routing pattern, we still have a lot of more comprehensive, like sophisticated routing stuff, but I'm just trying to simplify things for you guys so that you don't have to like stress yourself about it. This is just some basic routing system, and which we usually use in our daily activities. Now to achieve something like movie slash dynamic route, right? So it's very easy. You just have to come here and specify movies dot. We know that our dot will automatically change to / in our URL path. Then since this is a dynamic value, we use $, then movie id.tsx. That's cool. We generate the markup. Awesome. So very cool. Now let's test it by having some random content here, movie slash, let's just have some random content here, right? To test the movie item page. Okay, movie. Okay, that's cool. Okay, let's check that out. Okay, I will come here and check the console. We have the, okay, go to movie item. We are here. This is it. Movie item ID. Go back. Movie item ID with this random string. We have same page. Very cool. So that is how to implement a dynamic routing. Later, I will be showing you how you can extract the dynamic value, then do some API fetch and some other things. Okay, so that's implementing a dynamic route. So yeah, you just have to specify movies or movies dot $, then that $, specify that this value here is a dynamic value, not a static value. So I hope everything is now clear. So that's it. Now let's move forward to route modules and explain a little bit about how route modules work. What are few necessary things we need to know about the route module? Route modules are the foundation of React Routers framework features. they define data download, data loading, actions, revalidation, error boundary, automatic code splitting, and even more. So it gives your route a powerful tools which can make data fetching much more easier and flexible. Now we'll look into some few route modules and some necessary things that we need to get started with it. Now let's get started with the data fetching modules for our route. So here now the we are in the home page, right? Yes, we are in the home page. So now let me just quickly navigate to the home page of our route. We have these home pages. We have this home page. So this is a specific route here, right? This is a single route here, which is the home page. Here now I can fetch some data. So the first route module that we'll be talking about is the loader route. So this loader is used to fetch data on the server, not on the client. It will never disclose the fetching feature or all the necessary things that was performed by the loader. Will never be exposed to your browser. Everything will be done on the server while the server is rendering, but will never execute in your client side or while your component is rendering. So how do we achieve this, or how do we use this loader function? First thing is that you have to export it out of this module here. Okay, export async function loader. Yes, this is the loader function. Right now I can fetch anything. Now we will be testing the loader function with a movie API. So I have already gotten the API key. I will just come here and have it here. API key. Do not use my API key. I will delete it after this video. I'm just trying using it to record the video. I will delete it later. Alright, so I'm using the MovieDB API here. So I've already gotten the API key. Let's just send a request. Okay, I will close this side, but let's just send a request to this is a search request here. So I will use my attach the API key. I just query for inception. Okay, that's cool. Okay, now we've done the setup for the loader function, right? So now let's test it. Since this is our home page for the movie, then I will go back to my movie page. This is my movie page here. Yes, we're now in movie page. Cool, awesome. Now I'm not getting the console here. As you can see that here I have console.log data. Like I have a console here, but I am not getting anything in my console here despite refreshing the page, right? I'm not getting anything in my console here. It's because this loader function executes on the server. Since it doesn't execute on our browser, we can't see anything in our console here. If it executes in our browser, then we literally see it here. But since it's executed on the server, it means that we can only see the data that was consoled here in our terminal. So if I check my terminal here, we have the data here. This is the data. As you can see, we have all the data of the movie that was saved. So that's how cool it is. This allows us to confirm that this loader function always runs on the server. It never runs the browser, right, on your client side. So that's it about the data. Now this data here, this loader here, since we fetched from the server, we can now return the data. I will return an object of movies From the data, we can then attach to, like, take out the data, the movies out by using data.results. Okay, so I can grab the movies from there. Okay, now we've used the loader function to fetch the movies, right? Then, and we've returned it from the loader, because if we didn't return it from the loader, it means that we are returning null, we are returning nothing. So now we are returning something from the loader. So how can we now get access to what was fetched from the server? How can we get access to it in our movie component? So that is when we have to talk about the loader data. So there is this loader data component here. This is labeled as routes from your index, right? You know, we are in movie.index, right? So you can also use the route one. So route dot component prop. Yes. So here we've got our component prop. So this data, we have a lot of component prop here apart from loader data, but we'll be looking into it gradually by gradually. Let's start with the loader data, since we are dealing with the loader function here, the server loader function. Okay, we have access to the loader function here, loader data prop here. So this loader data will provide us the access. It will provide us with the data that was returned from the loader function. So which means that this object of movie that was returned here, we can only get access to it through this loader data from in the client side. So now let's check that. If I check this now, we have it in our console here. Very clean and straightforward. This is the object, then we have our movie there, then we have array of the movies. So very, very clean and nice. That's it. Now we can make use of the data. I can just extract it by using object destructuring. Right? Cool. Alright, I can make use of a map here. Okay, I think I imported the wrong route component. That is why it is complaining. Like, we need the index. Okay, yes, we need to import the route from the route plus types slash movies dot underscore index, since this is the same route we are here, because each type is automatically being generated under the hood by the React routers framework. So each route has its own types we need to import, not from root, which is for another route, not from underscore index, which is the home page, not from about, not from movie ID. It's from movies dot underscore index page. So that's the exact movie route we're supposed to import it. So now you can see that now the error has now gone, because automatically the TypeScript type is being generated under the hood by the React Router framework. So we are now safe and good to go. Okay, now we have access to the movies. Cool. Now let's check that. Awesome. All right, so everything is now working as we expected. Okay, so now that is the function of loader function. So it's a component module. Each component we have here, the index can have its own loader function. The about page can have its own loader function, same as the movie underscore index, same as movies dot the dot movie id trending movie. Each route can have its own loader function and it won't affect each other. So the loader is just for fetching data on the server. So we also have client loader. So what's the difference between the client loader and your normal loader? So this normal loader is a server loader. It means that it will run on the server, whereas this client loader will run on your browser. It means that it will expose things to your client side. So that is the difference between the two. So they are both doing same thing. You can use them to fetch data, but you should always take note that these loaders, they will always execute before your components. They will always execute before your components. They will never execute while your component is being rendering. No, and they will never execute before. They will never execute after your movie component, whereas they will always execute before your component. So that's exactly how these loader function are built. That's exactly how these loader function are designed. So just need to take note of that. Now I can copy same thing that was done here just to avoid duplicates. I can paste it here. So we are doing same thing here, just fetching, return the data. So now if I console here, like client loader, right? You have the client loader there. So now let's refresh the page, reload our browser. Here you can now see client loader. Now this is an evidence that the movie was run. This client loader function runs on the client side. You see that client loader, whereas we didn't have the console that was done here previously. We can't see it here. We only see it in our terminal. So it runs on the server. So same thing is what happened here. This client loader means that you want to run something in your client side before you execute your components. All right. So that's literally what client loader works for. Let's talk about the action module for a specific component or a specific route module. Now, what does the action does? It's a way of mutating your data, your server data, like sending some data to the servers and also retrieving some data from the server. So that's basic or literally what the action does. Now, for instance, and this can be achieved by using form that was provided by the React router framework, or by using the use feature. Now let's test it with the form component. Now I will import a form component from React router. Here we have the form component. Is it? So I will import it from React router. It imported it. Now I will have an input here with type query, like we are querying for a movie, for instance. Query, okay, this is the name. Yes, I will have a button here, type of submit, search. Cool, that's cool. All right, now we can have our action here. Yeah, now this action now is where we'll the query like this. When we submit it, which route will it hit? So this is literally usually be the same route as the route we are. Now our current route is slash movie, right? So that's our route. Okay, then I will specify the method. Because we are sending a request, we are going to be using the post verb, like post method. So we are sending data to the server, right? We are mutating the server. So that's literally what action does. When you want to mutate the server data, we use action. Now we can declare an async function here, action, okay, with some requests. Let me just accept that and make things much more faster. Okay, so this is our route here. We have our route dot action argument. Yes, so route dot action argument. For here we have route dot component props, but here we have route dot action argument. Take note of that. But this route is still the same route from this movies dot underscore index typed. So we need to take note of that. Okay, now after submitting the form here, immediately this action will be called. Immediately we submit this form, this action will automatically be called, right? Because we are hitting this action, then this action route here, then this action will be called, and immediately it was called. This request will do its work by calling this request dot form data. We can retrieve the data that was sent from the client side. We can retrieve the data that was sent. Then form dot get query, we get the query of the name here we had here. Then we store it here. Then we have fetch the query. So I will just copy this value here to make things much more simpler and faster. I will paste it here. Yes, so we are making a search request. Then we have this movie here. Then we await it to retrieve the real data. Then we send the data back, right? You will notice that in this action module here, we return something here, and we return something very similar or same structure as what we returned in our loader, right? So yeah, now this is very cool because this is already set up. We extracted the query, then we fetch the data. After fetching the data, we return something. So how can we like get the data that was returned by the action function? So same thing as our loader data, we also have action data. So this action data is the data that will be returned, or that was returned by our action. So that is exactly what's going on here. So our data that will be returned by the action. So that is what we are using here. The data that will be returned by this action function we can access it in this component, this prop component here. So now let's check that and confirm if it's working. Okay, now here we have some inputs here. I will just add a little bit of styling to the input. So okay, as we've already said, the action is for mutating the server, like sending some few data to the server. But with the action method, we won't really be returning any data. We can just use the client action, because the way we have loader and we have client loader, we also have action and action loader. Yeah. So we can use the client loader, because this client loader will immediately execute after our action loader completed loading. So we can use this client action to fetch in or to request for some data, so that we can invalidate our action, like our loader data or receive the data back from the server. All right, now let's give a brief talk about navigating in React Router Framework. React Router Framework still provided for you your favorite routing component like nav links, or you have your links. We've already used our link. We've already used links here. Yeah, we have the link. It also give you your use navigation. It also give you form for navigating within for navigating within different routes. So it's there in their documentation. You can check it out and play around with it. So that's the brief introduction to the React routers framework.